Okay, welcome back. So, some of you may have noticed that this week is Easter, and it's Easter break. We don't have class on Friday. We don't have class next Monday. So I wanted to cover a couple things real quick, and then we're going to talk about the assignment sheet for the presentation. So, in regards to Easter and everything, you may notice that the due date for the rough draft is Friday. Well, that was always planned from the beginning. I made an adjustment on the syllabus probably back in week 2 to change the due date from Tuesday night into Wednesday to Friday to give you more time. Obviously, as our classes changed, I never got a chance to tell you that in person, so this is me telling you that now. So, this week is, well, tomorrow, Wednesday, is going to be peer review for your research paper, the rough draft. So you had last week to work on the research paper. I graded your critical comparative essays, and I got them all back to you by Saturday. So you've had from Saturday then until all the way this week, Friday. So most of you should be utilizing your time effectively and turning it in before then. The peer review opens on Wednesday and closes Saturday at midnight. Now, I know I said that the rough draft is due Friday night. I will change that to be Saturday night, the same as when the peer review is due. Okay, but you have to turn it in the day of the peer review. I need it by Saturday night. I really wanted it by Friday because over the weekend I planned on grading those. I'm not doing anything for Easter. My family's not doing anything for Easter, so I was going to spend Easter grading those rough drafts, giving you feedback so that by the time next week came around and you had to do the final draft, it would be ready. So I will allow it turned in up till Saturday by midnight at the latest without being late. Okay? We're talking rough draft of your research paper. But again, peer review opens up on Wednesday. If we were having physical class, it would be all due on Wednesday. But I do know some of you work. There are some issues with technology. Several of you have contacted me outside of class. So I know that there are issues. So that's why it's open tomorrow on Wednesday, but it goes all the way until Saturday. So you have to do it by Saturday, okay? Okay, that covers that. So, like I said, I've already opened up the folder for you. If you want, you can already check out the Project 5, the presentations. It is called the Digital Revision. So I've had to make some modifications. Usually we just do a standard presentation kind of thing. Most of you do PowerPoints, and then that's the end of it. So I've had to make adjustments because we're not physically in class, and so you don't quite get to have the same effect. So the assignment sheet. This assignment sheet is on Blackboard. It is available to you. It is ready for you to be looking at. This video, I'm not only telling you about this, but I am covering what's in this assignment sheet. Now, we'll talk about it when we get there. There was something I wanted to say, but we'll get to it when we actually do the assignment sheet. Okay, so, like I said, by Saturday, rough draft is due, and the peer review has to be done. Those two things. I know it's the holiday, which is why I'm saying it opens up tomorrow, Wednesday, and it's open from Wednesday all the way until Saturday. So you have plenty of time to do it. Please use your time effectively. Okay, so first thing right off the bat, I have on the assignment sheet. We're talking about this now. This is the oh no, I have the wrong assignment sheet. Oh no. Stand by. I'm having some technical issues. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I got the right one now. See, I promise. Happens. So, we're going to talk about the assignment sheet now. So this one is the presentation. It is worth 15% of your grade. That's still going to stay the same. There are some changes. We're going to talk about what those entail. So overall, my introduction, this is the instruction and introductions. You did it. You got the research paper done. That's the good news. So now the This is you taking that information and presenting the information. So no matter how you look at it, you've always been planned to take the information from your research paper, things that you've been saying this entire time, and turning it into a presentation. Remember how I said you can't end your paper with in conclusion and things like that? It's because that's what you would say in a presentation, not in a paper. So we're getting to that point where you can say those things. All those I statements, the me statements, the us statements, things that I told you throughout your papers from critical comparative and what I'm going to be telling you in your research papers, all those times I said, don't use me, don't use us, don't use we, all that stuff. Yeah, this is why. This is when you do it. When you're giving a presentation, you will use that information. You will use that phrasing, not in a paper. Okay. So there is a guideline. Your presentation has to be between 5 to 10 minutes long. If we were in class, it would be a 5 to 7 minute presentation. Because of the digital platform, I'm giving an extra 3 minutes for presentations, but they cannot be more than 10 minutes. If it's a couple seconds over, that is acceptable, but we're trying to keep in the 5 to 10 minute range. The good news is, since it's all a digital thing, you will actually have a timestamp. You will know how long it's taking you, and you can make those revisions based off of that. 5 minutes goes very quickly, and 10 minutes goes very quickly when you talk. So the important thing is you have to know how to identify your key information from your paper and present it forward to your audience in your presentation so that they have the most accurate, up-to-date information. Okay? So because you're presenting the information, I'm giving you multiple ways to do it, especially since we're kind of digital distance learning. Typically, all these were the same. The only difference was I had one option that I had to remove. I used to give the option for a poster board. I know I mentioned at the beginning of this semester, I have had a student use that before. Because we're not face-to-face, it's pointless for you to make a poster board. There are other options. So, your options are website, a film, a podcast, a photo story, an infographic, or a Prezi PowerPoint, things like that. Okay. All of these options can be done digitally. These are all things that you don't necessarily need me to be there to look at face-to-face. We can view this digitally. So as far as a website is concerned, there are several free kind of website things like that. They are self-generating things. If you do that, you will need to do a second step. You will need to include either a video walkthrough using screen capture software. There is some that are available for free, and you can record right from your computer or device. So there are options for this. But if you're doing a website, you will have to do a separate recording of your website, you walking through the important details, going through the website page by page. That's the only way we're going to get this actual oral presentation component to the website. So again, I know if you know anything about video gaming and streaming, there is a free screen streaming software called OBX. If you have a regular computer, things like that, OBX might be helpful because you can actually record, not just live stream. So you could actually record you going through your screen, showing us each part of the page of the web page and going through the information. You would just need, to record the audio, things like that. Film, again, you all have phones, and I know you all have at least one level of smartphone, so you all have a built-in camera and recording device. So I don't want to hear, I don't have the technology for it. If you have a smartphone, you have the abilities to do this. I am aware of this. I use this in my own personal life, so I know it's a possibility. I'm telling you this now, of all this, I am not grading on the quality of video production, okay? I don't expect any of you to really have had any kind of background in video editing or video production. I just don't. But it's an option that if that's something you're interested in, this is a good, safe chance to explore it. I will give you feedback on how it could be improved if that's something you wish. But in general, this is a good, safe intro way. Obviously, if you're doing a film, there will need to be some level of editing. I know that there are some default film editing software that is installed on most computers. If not, there are free versions available. There are demo versions. If you want to pay for some, you can. I'm not telling you to buy any. I'm also not telling you technically to do anything where you might need to find a website that allows you to download something that's the full version for free. I'm not suggesting that. But if that's the path you wish to take, that's fine by me. Just be aware you will have to do some kind of level of editing with a film. With a podcast, much like these video lectures, and actually, if you want to do your video like my video lectures are now, you can do that. I'll tell you right now, I actually do make some edits and revisions between the recording and when it's posted online. I actually do that. I have had movie editing software for at least 10 years, so I know what I'm doing. That's why I'm saying you will have to do some editing, but nothing major. If you do a podcast, you can do it like this with a visual, with a video of just, you talking to the camera. You can have maybe while you're home, maybe you have a friend, or not a friend, a sibling or a parent or someone that lives in the house that, you can kind of have on as like a guest where you talk about the topic, things like that. That would be perfectly acceptable. If you want to have the video, you can have the video. If you're doing a podcast and you want to just put up a static image, take a picture, draw a picture, do whatever you want, but kind of upload an image so there's something, and then just have the audio, and that would work too. No big deal. A photo story, this is something that essentially is along the same lines as a video, but if you're using basic video editing software, you can just throw in pictures, and then you could just record yourself with your phone. You'll have a nice little audio file, and record yourself talking about what each photo represents in regards to your overall argument, things like that. And so then you have a video, which is a photo story, just using direct snapshots and talking about what it means. That's a possibility. Infographic, this is the same kind of thing with a website. You can make infographics online. They can be really large. They can be things that, if you print it off, would be giant poster board length things, but they would be available online. You can upload a copy of that and then a audio little thing going through step by step each part. So you wouldn't necessarily need to video record you going through screen capture, same thing with like a website, but you could include kind of a little audio file that is 5 to 10 minutes in length talking about each individual thing. Obviously with an infographic it works because you read top to bottom. On a website, if it has multiple pages, you couldn't do that. You would need to show us exactly what you're doing. If it's all on one web page, you could do the same thing as the infographic. That is an option. Okay, and the last but certainly not least is the Prezi/presentation. I am not sure how Prezi works in regards to this. I have not used Prezi enough to be able to say confidently you can do this. But if you use PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint, there is an option that there's ways to record your audio over the presentation. Similar ways that, recording your screen, things like that. There are options in PowerPoint. Over this week and the weekend, outside of grading, I'm going to be playing with PowerPoint to find out the specifics of how to do that. I'll be glad to give you some information, feedback on that. Obviously, if you can figure it out using tutorials or anything online, please, by all means, do that. This is just the suggested things that I think you could do and should do. If there's something outside of that list that you really want to do, please reach out to me and let me know. I've never had it, but I guess technically if you want to write a song and you can play an instrument and you want to sing your key points of research, you could. Never seen it happen, but there's always a first. So if you're that kind of person, go for it. Creative people, this is a place to shine. Non-creative people, this is a place to break out of your comfort zone a little bit and try something new. That's the whole point of the presentation. So there has to be a visual component. There has to be an oral component. You have to talk about your research paper, and there has to be something we can look at. Okay? Plain and simple. All right. So despite being in a distance learning situation, you will still be presenting the information, just not live. Visual component must include an oral component. This may be done with simple voiceover audio work. Now, as you may have guessed by now, I'm throwing my own stuff. Okay, so I use my phone. I use a simple voice recording app. That's actually how you are hearing the audio for all our videos, because my video camera does not have a great microphone. So, I have different quality stuff, and that's a whole different issue. But with a simple voice recording app on your phone, you do get the file for it. You will need to download a converting app, most likely, because some of the audio files saved through audio things aren't always MP3. You would just have to change it. It's not a big deal. There's plenty of them for free. Believe me, I know I have at least one. But there are ways to do this. I know this is going to be... Realistically, this is going to be a dumpster fire. I know it. You know it. But we have to have this component, this presentation component. So I'm going to let you know, as far as the presentation part, the visual and oral, I'm going to be really lenient on grading it this semester, only because we can't do anything about the distance thing, and so there are some glitches and issues that we're going to have to deal with. I'm willing to at least make it through this. You need to meet me halfway. You need to at least attempt to do this stuff too with me. Okay? So outside of reinterpreting, which is the goal, reinterpreting your research into a presentation, you have to do something else. And originally you only had to do one thing, but now because of the distance learning, you have two things. So if you've been reading along and already read through this assignment sheet, the next thing is you do have to write a 1 to 2 page explanation for your presentation. This is the one that you made, okay? It needs to be 1 full page to 2 full pages. Not longer, nothing else. It has to be at least 1 full page. And you have to answer these 4 questions. I think there's 4. Yep, 4 questions. That's all you have to do in this paper part, okay? So, why did you choose the particular form that you did? How does the presentation express or represent your research argument? Does this presentation allow your argument to be accessed by a wider audience? If so, how? If it's a, website or a video that you've uploaded to YouTube, obviously it can be reached by more people. Why? How is it able to? Things like that. And then, what did you learn about this research topic, your argument, and your personal writing process as you worked on this assignment? As you start to convert your information from the paper to this, you should notice some things about your own writing that you're learning. So that's kind of the goal of that paper. So that was the 1 to 2 page paper that you always had to do for this assignment. This was always planned from the beginning. The first 2 parts, always planned. This last part, this third part, that's new. That's because of this distance learning thing. I want to make sure that this project had enough points that if your presentation kind of had issues because of technology issues or limitations or anything of that sort, I wanted to make sure that you had enough points that you wouldn't fail this assignment. Okay? So, with our distance learning, there's an additional 1 to 2 page reflection is also going to be required. Again, 1 full page to 2 pages. This is an easy one. So this whole thing, you will watch all the presentations. Okay? That's easy. You would be doing that in class anyway. So our last week of class is when this is due. Everyone's has to be posted by then. And our last week of class, if we were in person, would be sitting in class and watching all the presentations. Now you're at home. You get to do this. So you will watch all the presentations. You have to watch them all. You personally are going to rank the top 5 best presentations in the class, explaining explicitly why they all earned the spot that they deserved, or you know what I mean. I want you to rank the top 5 best presentations and tell me why they deserve that spot in your ranking, okay? So, if you are not in the top 5, so you can put yourself in the top 5, but if you don't think that your presentation was better than some other people's, why? Tell me why that you weren't in your own top 5. The last thing that you will answer in this reflective essay is one way in which you could improve your presentation based off of the rest of your classmates' presentations. So this is really more of a self-reflective essay. I want you to really look at everything everyone else did and say, okay, where do I fit in on this? And is it because I didn't put in as much effort? Is it because I didn't understand the assignment? Is it because I didn't choose a colorful font, or those kinds of things? I want you to really think hard about why you personally didn't rank up, or you personally how you could improve and become better at this. Okay? All right. In regards to that essay, not the first one, only this reflective one. If you wish to make a numbered list and put each person's name and project in the order that you rank them, you can do that. However, you will still need to explain in a paragraph form below the list why each one got the spot it deserved and answer the other questions. Okay? So you can have a bulleted list. You can have a numbered list if you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rank them from best to worst in your top 5. That's fine. I don't care how you do it. All I'm saying is that after you've done that list, you have to explain in paragraphs underneath it, if you're doing it that way, why they earned their spot. Okay? All right, on to the back. Grading. This is grand total now worth 150 points, 15% of the total grade, divided into 3 parts. The presentation is 75 points. Like I said, I'm being very lenient on this only because of our distance learning issue. So we're going to work through this. This is both physical project and your oral presentation, the information. You want to make sure you speak clearly when recording with minimal background noise. Find a quiet part in your home. If you need to, close the door, ask your housemates, whether that's family or whatever, to be quiet for just, 10 minutes so you can record your audio. That's it. Get it done. But the less noise, the better. If you have open windows and there's, like police cars and things like that, you might want to close your window, that kind of thing. The 1 to 2 page explanation of the project. This is 25 points. Follow the standard rules, 12 point Times New Roman double space, 1-inch margins, MLA APA formatting. All the basic stuff you already know. The 1 to 2 page reflection is the same formatting as all the papers. These two should look like a regular paper. Like I said, except for the reflection if you do a list of 1 to 5 of the projects. That's the only thing that should be different, okay? So important things to remember, you are responsible for the legality of any mode you choose. If you use pictures, videos, audio from any other source, you do need to cite it properly, give credit where credit is due. If you don't, that is plagiarism, and we'll deal with that. If you use a standard, like, royalty-free image or audio from something, just at least mention it at the end of your presentation that you use that use that kind of stuff. Not going to, make you say, I got this image from Google image search. No. If you use, like, someone's interview or some art that someone actually did, please give credit to that individual. Creativity and level of difficulty is also considered. I'm very aware that some of these projects are easier to do than others, and some of them are way more difficult. I also know that some of you may have not had any experience with using any kind of these technologies before, and if that's the case, by all means, I believe it's next week. It's either next week or the following week. Whatever week, the week before we have the presentations, that week there's no regular class. It's literally just going to be, if you need help, please email me. We will set up a Zoom conference and we will talk it through. We can figure out what specific software you need help with, what kind of editing you need, things like that. We'll figure it out. We'll work through it. Outside of that, that's the big piece. Okay. The other thing is, please be sure to consider who your audience is and the best way to approach that. You're talking to all of us. That's who your presentation is geared towards. So keep us in mind when you're kind of developing your presentation. You want to keep us in mind only because if you're presenting information to a bunch of experts, you're not going to need to explain or define any terms, but you're explaining it to your classmates and to your professor, you're going to need to actually explain things. So you're going to have to factor in definitions. You're going to have to factor in important dates, things like this that an expert would know, but we wouldn't, okay? So you have to keep that in mind. All right, last but certainly not least is the due dates. So peer review presentation test day, 24th. When I say peer review, Not at all peer review. That's something that used to be part of the assignment sheet. It's like the one thing I forgot to make a change on this sheet. We're not doing a peer review. We would normally do an informal peer review. We are doing a test presentation day, though, so that's what we are doing that day. If you want to test run how your presentation is going to work, by all means, you can submit it, and we can kind of figure out what needs to work. If something is not working, I can always remove your submission and you can do it again, that kind of thing. So that's what the 24th is guided for. The 26th, there we go. So the 26th, that's a Sunday. That's when your presentations have to be turned in and due. Okay? So your oral visual component has to be turned in on the 26th of April. That is a Sunday. That Monday, the 27th, the 29th, and the 1st. Normally, I'd have us, just look at each individual, a set of them each day in class. Because of the nature of the online, you have the freedom, if everyone's is already posted on time, you can check them all out on that Monday if you want. If you have other stuff going on with class, you don't necessarily have to check it out until one of the other days. The important piece to note about all this is 5/4, May 4th. This is, so first, second, third. This is Monday the 4th. This is when our technical finals week is. This is when, if we had a final paper, this would be when the final paper is due. And that's when I decided to make the written papers that you have to do, the reflection on your own work and the reflection based off of the other students' works, the other two paper things that you have to do in this assignment, those will be due on that Monday by midnight. Okay? So you will have to watch all those presentations the week before. That's why I'm giving you the whole week to watch them and to write this paper. Again, you can turn in assignments at any time. It does not have to be the day it's due. As soon as the Dropbox is open, you can turn in the assignment. Okay? All right. That's all I have. This is definitely a lot longer than I thought it would be. But I wanted to at least give you that option. I wanted to inform you of what you needed to do. I wanted you to be aware of what I'm talking about. I wanted you to know about this presentation with enough time. So over Easter break, the 2 extra days you get outside of the weekend, if you want to start working on this, please do. I won't be available to answer emails about it because I'll be working on your research paper rough draft grading and testing some other things. So I won't be answering over the weekend. I will get back to them on Monday and Tuesday, but I want you to at least have this information. I want you to have the assignment sheet. I want you to know that you can start working on this before you get to that point where it's too late. So that's all I have for you guys. I think this is the last video lecture. We might have face-to-face Zoom chats, but other than that, this is the last lecture that I have. So this has been an interesting ride. Class itself has been good. I enjoyed coming to class, and even though sometimes it was a little bit difficult, we got through it as a class. Yeah. Hang in there. You can do this. Again, any questions you have about the presentation over the next couple weeks, please reach out to me. Tell me about your issues that you're having. If you know you want to do a specific project but you're not sure how to do it, please let me know what your project plan is and how you're struggling, things like that. We can kind of work this out and figure out where we need to go from here. But I do encourage you, if you are doing anything of the sort of video editing and things like that, the best way to learn is just to go out and do it. If you ask me, how do I do this? We're going to be sitting in a face-to-face conversation for like 2 hours while I try to walk you through step by step by step. It'll be easier if you look up tutorials and do it in your own pace. So, I'm not saying that I won't help you. I'm not saying I won't sit for 2 hours and try to walk you through something. I will. But I encourage you to try it first before coming to me, because there are plenty of available tutorials out there. YouTube is full of people telling you how to use software. Use them. You're already coming to YouTube to look at my videos, so go there and look for other ones. All right. I've talked too long. It's been a fun time. It really has, outside of this stuff, but I'm glad that you were the class that I had during this time. I've had classes in the past where this would have been a nightmare, and this is not a nightmare, so thank you. I really hope that you all do really well with this assignment. This is a fun assignment. This is supposed to be a fun assignment. I want you to have fun with it. So try something crazy, try something new. If you need some assistance, again, ask me. But yeah, have fun with this one, okay? This is supposed to be an enjoyment thing. Get to celebrate it. And celebrate your research. Celebrate the stuff you found out. All right, I'm rambling. I'm done, I promise. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the semester and a wonderful and healthy summer. And I hope for whoever continues going on in school, whether it's here at Gannon or anywhere else, I wish you the best of luck. And I hope that you're successful in your future careers. Again, it's been an honor to teach you, and thank you. I don't know if we're doing class surveys this year or not, but please be aware as you check Blackboard, there might be class surveys just asking, how did the class go? How's the professor? Those things. Please take it seriously if it does happen. I don't know because of the distance learning if we're going to have those, but if we do, please fill those out seriously. They're, what helps the 112 become a better class. It's what helps me become a better teacher. It's also what helps me continue to have a job. So please fill those out. Take them seriously if we have them. If not, don't worry about it. Like I said, good luck in all your future endeavors. And this has been a fun time and a blessing. So thank you very much. And yeah, have a good day.